Yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome to this review of A24's latest film, Bodies, 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 directed by Halina Reijn, starring Amandla Stenberg, Bakalova, Rachel Sennott, Pete Davidson, Myha'la, Chase Sui Wonders, and Lee Pace. Now, this is a film that was kind of on my radar. I knew a lot about it. I saw, oh, Pete Davidson is in this A24 thing, which is interesting considering it is Pete Davidson, but I guess he's been kind of expanding his resume over the past few years. But also, just the fact that Bakalova was in a role post Borat 2, very excited about that. Rachel Sennott after Shiva Baby, which if you guys haven't seen that film, it's really good and her performance is just phenomenal in it. What a great bottle film that is. And Amandla Stenberg coming off of what I think she should have been nominated for in her performance in The Hate U Give a few years back. So you have all these talents coming together and of course some others that we haven't quite seen yet. And I knew it was going to be a horror satire. And I think that is something you must know going in, because I know a lot of people were thrown off, especially my friends, at least a couple of my friends. I don't think maybe they understood that that's what it was going to be at first. But I just kind of I was just kind of like, hey, let's roll with the punches, see where this movie takes us. And man, does it take us in some places. I'll say right off the bat, I love this film. I think so far, this is one of the best films of the year, and I think definitely the best horror effort that A24 has put out in 2022. I mean, everything about this film, well, I'd say for the most part, works at a really high level, because not only does the setup work, it really does feel kind of reminiscent to Get Out in that case. Because, I mean, the story is basically about these rich, privileged 20-somethings who have a party in the middle of a hurricane, and then they play a game called Bodies, 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 where you're supposed to, like, tag the person who you think killed the other individual in the game. But obviously it gets a little bit more crazier than that, as you probably know. And I just think the fact that it's in this secluded location is very reminiscent of something like Get Out. Not necessarily thematically, but I think the setup is very, very similar. You have this new couple going to this place for the weekend. They have an idea where they are in the relationship, but you're not really 100% sure what that is, especially given the conflict that presents itself in this film. It really does make you question a lot of things, like a lot of great whodunits do. And this is definitely a whodunit film, but the thing I absolutely love about it is how it flips your expectations of the genre right on its head. A lot of crazy stuff in here that you wouldn't get from a regular whodunit. But first, I want to talk about the cast, because this legitimately is one of the best casted and well-acted films of the entire year. Starting from the top with Amandla Stenberg. Oh my goodness, she continues to impress. Rachel Sennott has like some of the best comedic timing I've ever heard, and someone I would love to work with someday. Also, I have to mention Myha'la. I've never seen her in anything, but man, does she bring so much to this movie. Right from the first scene she comes on, she's one of the most dominating presences in this entire film, and I absolutely loved her in it. And of course, you got Pete Davidson, who, I mean, let's be honest, he kind of plays a different variation of the same character in every movie. But, you know, he definitely has this undeniable charisma. I mean, I love the guy. I think he's putting in some great work as of late, and this is no exception here. And Lee Pace is a very entertaining presence in this film as well. And there's kind of like a mystery. There's like an aura to him that is very, very interesting. And you find out more about him and all these characters, really, throughout the narrative. But I will say, I mean, yes, some of these characters are pretty simple when it comes to like how much there is to them, but I think that there is enough depth to all these characters to really build some rich character drama and amp the tension like every step of the way. I mean, this is an incredibly well-paced film. Oh, hold on, hold the presses. I completely forgot to mention Bakalova, who, coming off of Borat 2 and an Oscar nomination for that matter, gives an awesome dramatic performance, and it shows that she isn't just a one-hit wonder, if you will. She gives this incredible performance and drops off the mat. She is a formidable talent to be reckoned with, and I think she is the one that steals this entire movie. It's really, you see it through her eyes. She's kind of like our conduit into this film and the situation that is presented. I mean, it is such a well-paced film, though, getting back to what I said earlier. Really, every step of the way, you're on edge. You can't wait to see what happens in the next frame and trying to see how these characters react to their situation. And the reason it's a satire, it's like, look, all these people, like, they have cocaine and they have all this crazy stuff going on in this house, unlimited access to almost anything, and it kind of comments on the vapidness of, I guess, Gen Z, if you will, and sort of like how we are preoccupied with our phones and social media and all this other things, and also is kind of like a farce in the sense that this film is basically them revealing like the things that they don't want to say to each other and kind of like the phoniness of their relationships. And I think it just comes to head so beautifully, the way they build this drama, and is legitimately compelling despite the fact that you are supposed to be like kind of laughing at these characters, but in some way you do feel for them, especially the Maria Bakalova character, who obviously is the outsider. But just the way they set up, the script sets up these little and subtle clues throughout the film and pays them off so beautifully at the end. And oh my goodness, what an ending. This is just incredible, the way this film concludes. I won't give it away, but you might see it coming, you might not. But really, this film makes you guess the entire narrative. Even characters where you're like, I'm pretty sure they didn't do anything because they already showed that they weren't at that specific place at that time. It still makes you question them, and I think that goes to show the inherent power of the writing in this film and why you are going to see it. I mean, this could even get a screenplay nomination. I doubt it will, and I won't be upset if it doesn't either. But if it did, I would absolutely be for it, because this film just is one that has a lot to say. It's funny. It's witty, it's smart, it also is very, very moving in some spots. And I think, as I said, it has a lot to say about kind of the vapidness of this Gen Z culture. And even though, you know, I might fall into that, I guess, group of people, it doesn't feel like it's mocking the audience at all. And I really love it about that. So yeah, guys, you gotta check Bodies, Bodies, Bodies out. So what a great horror thriller comedy, a hybrid of all this stuff, a whodunit more than anything. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely check this one out. It's going to be in theaters for a little bit longer, obviously, because it just started a couple weeks ago. So you're definitely going to have a few opportunities to get to check this one out. But if you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I on the money with this? What are some of your thoughts and opinions on this film? And as always, if you like what you're seeing here, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciated. As you know, we're doing the top 80 albums of the 80s between me and Johnny Radio, so please check that out if you haven't already. And I assure you that there's going to be more great content coming down the pipeline very soon, with a lot of movies coming out. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to award season. The summer season hasn't ended yet, but we are just on the cusp of the fall and some great films to come. So until I review those films, guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care now.